crochet crowd. Inspire, create, and celebrate. Let's learn something.
Welcome, Crochet Crowders. I'm your host, Mikey. Today I'm going to show you how to make one motif using the Red Heart all-in-one quilt motif. This particular yarn makes 5 of these motifs. So when you're thinking about putting things together, just remember that every ball can do 5. And you can see that instruction here. 1 ball equals 5 of those squares. You're also going to notice is that they're asking you not to go from the outside of the ball, but go from the inside of the ball. And when you have the inside of the ball, you're going to notice the tail is hanging out. Right here at that color transition is right where the start of the new motif is going to be. So we're going to be working our way through. Now it's recommending a 5.5mm size eye crochet hook today, but I want you to have a whole gamut of crochet hooks available to you because we're going to be bouncing up and down on these hooks in order to make it all work for you. So I know for myself, based on my practice already, that a 4.5mm size G is going to work for me, so a US 7. However, you may be different, and because each one of us are different, is that the hook size really does matter. And we're going to be able to determine that really close up into the project as we're going to begin to know what your stability is, because I'm not stable as a host, but my hooks are. So I know that this is my stability, so I keep bouncing around, always ending up back on a 4.5mm size US 7 crochet hook. So I'm going to take you through the ins and outs. I also recommend that we mark our squares with the right side facing up with a stitch marker. So when you're ready to put these together, if you decide to do that, you can always know what side is facing up. And later on in the series, I'm going to show you how to join these together with join as you go technique instead of sewing them together to make them more seamless. But our goal right now is to teach you how to do one square and how to bounce up and down on those crochet hooks in order to make this work. And this is much easier than Red Heart all-in-one granny square yarn and all-in-one flower power yarn. This one is actually a lot easier to manage. Let's begin our process next. On the back of the label, you can just turn it over and you can have the same diagram that's blown up here. All I just did, I took my phone, snapped a photo of it, blew it up, and sent it to my printer, and I got this one here. The patterns that Yarnspirations is providing, they have those diagrams as well. So the patterns that use this yarn, that'll be provided. This is the same motif for all of the different patterns using this yarn because this yarn only does the motif concept in the quilt with corner to corner. However, if you don't like this yarn or you bought this yarn and you feel that you're no longer in love with it, it does really create really kind of cool self-striping yarn projects as well. So it's not a waste of yarn. And of course, it's a Red Heart Super Saver type of yarn. So you can mix and match with other colors that you have. So you're going to find the written instructions on the back here that we will be covering on camera slowly today. And you will see different examples available. It's recommending a 5.5mm size eye, but I know for myself that will not work for me. And we need to determine that right up front. So you'll need a tape measure in order to get yourself started on this particular concept. So just have one handy, and we're going to grab the 5.5mm size eye crochet hook to start, and we're going to determine if it's going to work for us or not. And we're going to know within the first 4 rows whether it's going to work. And if not, then we have to go back and change. We have to figure that out before you can even have this kind of concept. So you need to spend the time to figure out where you're going to be in your crochet hook sizes. Off camera, my ball is going to be coming out. I've already done 2 squares, so I got a hole in the center. But what I like to do is just pull out a chunk of it out here until I can see the next color transition. So we're going to be starting off with this blue, then moving on to this lavender color. And I want to look for that, so that will help me to understand where I am in the stitch work to know if I'm going to adjust the hook size. So I am kind of just pulling them out in little chunks, nothing big, but just enough so that I can see that when one color is about to run out, how to adjust my hook to go to the next. And that'll be off camera that you don't see. The first thing that we need to do is we need to cut the yarn right where it transitioned at the beginning of the ball. So you'll see that there's a color transition here, right here, that you're going to want to cut it. So you can cut it a little bit more longer if you want it, like just a little bit into that other color, but just don't cut into this blue area here at the starting of it. So we want to create the slip knot so that it is 4 inches away from the starting of that color. So the slip knot has to be here. So we're just going to take it and just, if you have to practice a few times and practice a few times, you need to get that slip knot and onto the hook and look at the length of that tail. I don't always get it right. So you see, 0, it's not going 4 inches. Therefore, I'll be out of alignment. Okay, so you want to try again. So just go a little bit more. Every millimeter on this yarn counts. Okay, so you want approximately 4. Okay, I'm a little over. I'm going to do it one more time. I'm looking right there. I think I could be good. So I know this hook is not going to work for me, but I want to use it anyway because that's what's recommended. So from the slip knot, 0 to approximately 4. So that's your first step. If you don't do that right away, then you're going to be in trouble. And let's begin starting making corner to corner using the anchor method, which is my preferred method, which works with this yarn, and we'll use the yarn that is or the hook that is suggesting. In the crochet diagram, we're starting here and we're making these. Each one of these equals a box. So this is one box here, and then the next row is number 2. There's 2 boxes in a row. Next row is 3. There's 3 boxes in a row. So we're reading it up on an angle. If you're left-handed or right-handed, does not matter. This diagram is for both of you. So it doesn't matter because you'll have to read in both directions anyway. So there's no such thing as right or left diagrams on this particular sample. Let's begin and let's try and get this done. In the hook they recommended, which is an eye, a 5.5 millimeter. This is your starting point to know where you're going to be within the gauge. You need to chain 6, but watch how I do it. You're going to chain 1, 2, 3, pinch. So you're pinching the third one, and then 4, 5, and 6. And why I'm pinching the third one is that that's the first stitch I want to go into. So when I go to do a double crochet, I'm just going to move my thumb backward out of the way and grab the one that it's been covering. Okay, so which is technically the 4th chain from the hook. And it's a fast way to be able to do it, and you're going to double crochet. And now you have 2 more double crochets in a row, so on the chains, so just 1 in each of the remaining chains. And then finally the last chain. Okay, this is row number 1. Okay, and you're looking at it from this perspective. Just turn your work and let's do row number 2. So just flip it and begin number 2. When we go to do increases, which will then span it out like a triangle shape like this, we're always going to start off with chaining of 6. But watch how I do it. You're going to do 1, 2, 3, pinch the third one, and 4, 5, and 6. The one that I've pinched is the first stitch you're going to double crochet in. So just wrap the yarn, move your thumb backward out of the way, and double crochet in. That's the 4th chain from the hook. And double crochet that one, plus 2 more to take you back to the beginning box. So now we're going to play with the other box that's there, and you got to watch the orientation the very first time. The way that you're looking at it right now is wrong. You need to make sure this tail is facing you, so just don't go like this. Flip it like that so that the tail is facing you. See the space that's been created by that chain? You're going to slip stitch in that space. Chain 3. Place only 2 more double crochet into that same space. And the 4th one, so this chain 3 is considered 1, 2, 3. The 4th one has to be in the anchor spot. Don't put it into the space, as it will turn your squares into a diamond shape. So when you go to wrap the hook, go right into the chain work itself. not to a space. And that is called an anchor, and it will hold that last stitch on the outside, which will make it more square looking. And then turn your work. And we'll start row number 3, but before we do, we want to add a stitch marker so we know which is the right side of the project. Okay, get a spare piece of yarn, and with the yarn, with the project turned this way, I want you to stick a stitch marker through the stitch work like that. And you're just looping on, and you're pulling it through. So whenever you see the tail end, it's going to be the right side of the project, and when you see it like this, it's the wrong side. Okay, now put your hook back in. And let's begin the third row. To begin a third row, we're going to be expanding out, so we need to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, pinch, 4, 5, 6. Yarn over, and the one you pinch, move your thumb out of the way. It's the 4th chain from the hook, and double crochet. And double crochet the 2 remaining chains that are in that same area. So the starting is always going to be the same, except for when we do a decrease, which we'll cover later on in this series. Okay, so flip it up like this. So see the space right here? You're just going to slip stitch there and then build out another box. So currently you see 1 box, 2 box, 3 box. So you have to build another box to fill it in. So you're going to chain 3 and place 3 double crochet into the space. The only time we don't put it into the space is the end one, that we create an anchor. So let's put 3 double crochet into the space. So I put the yarn that you can see it off camera coming in, because when the blue is done, we'll be changing over here, and I want to keep an eye on that. So just flip up and get to the empty space, slip stitch, chain 3. And because this is an edge, only place in 2 double crochet into the space. And the third one is going to go right into the chain work itself. That will anchor it into position to keep the square shape. And so we have 1 more row before this color will change out. Okay, so let's, and I know that from the pattern, but I also know that from my homework I've done. So turn your work and let's do row number 4. So row number 4, you want to expand it out, so you're going to chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, pinch, 4, 5, 6. Right where you're pinching, that's your first stitch. And then you'll do the other 2. I can tell from my experience of already doing my homework that this is way too loose, and I'm going to run out of yarn too early, which is good because I want to show you why that would be. So you're going to flip up, slip stitch, chain 3, and just fill in the boxes. So that's going to be 3 double crochet into the space, okay, slip stitch up here, chain 3, and 3 double crochet into that space. And if you notice that camera, it's already changing color, but I still have another box to make, and I'm going to finish this box because this is part of the lesson today. So I'm going to slip stitch. I still have to do another chain 3, and I still have to place in 2 more double crochet into that space, plus another double crochet into the anchor spot. So I changed color prematurely. So this means that my hook is too big for my tension of my own hands. So that means I need to reduce my hook in order to get this yarn to go longer in order to hit that. Okay, now if I was finished this row and I still have more of this blue and it did not transition as much, it means that I would have to increase my hook, which I'll talk a little bit about that. So that this means that I cannot have the 5.5mm size I crochet hook as a stability hook for me to use. So what you can do is that you can just pull this all back out and restart the lesson again with the next size down, which is a 5mm size H crochet hook. I found with myself though, this will not work as well. I will be not hitting that transition because the hook is still too big for my hands. So what I need to do for myself is that I need to go all the way to a 4.5mm size US 7 crochet hook for me to hit this transition. So what I'm going to have you do now is that we use video chapters, and I'm going to provide those in the video description so that you can go backward to restart the project again with a different hook and begin to do rows number 1 through 4. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to start with my 4.5mm hook on my own, and I'm going to show you what's going to happen as we hit that transition and any adjustments that we are going to need to do. The other thing that I recommend for you at this particular point is that you already know that this was 4mm, so just pull out, so just what we call frogging, which means rip it. So we already know that that's going to be at the 4-inch mark, so don't restart again and having them remeasure. Listen to those roosters, I tell you. Okay, so we already know that that stitch marker, or the beginning stitch, is the actual right one. So when you pull, just pull right to your last one because you know this is right, and change it to the hook size that you would like to try it with next, and then restart the lesson. So go to the video description to see the time markers and do rows number 1 through 4 once again, and I'll meet you at the transition of the end of row number 4. So I'm coming to the end of row number 4 using the change of the hook size. And what I've done is off camera, I have the rest of this color here before it transitions to the next. And I'm keeping an eye on that because you can get used to how much length that you can visually see before it's going to switch, which will allow you to have the point of view to be able to change out your hook if you need to. Okay. And you can see already on camera that my corner to corner looks more consistent in sizing. It doesn't look as spacey as the 5.5mm size I. So even though my hook is much smaller than recommended, I'm still hitting the right size. So I have just this much yarn left and I still have one more box to do. So I'm going to take a risk and actually just try it. Okay, so chain 3. 2 double crochet into that last space here, and I still have the anchor to go, and the anchor is going to go right here, and it's already changed color. So this means that I'm really close. So I want to make sure that this last one is going to be the right color. So because I'm using a 4.5mm size US 7, I'm going to switch down to an E hook, a 3.5mm within the last 2 boxes. You have to get used to this yarn. So this yarn, in time, you'll get your tension. But as you're starting like I am right here, sometimes you need to do that. So I'm going to switch the hook down so that I get the yarn to go further in length. So a smaller hook means less yardage or less millimeters used. As I said in the very introduction of this whole thing, is that a square can be using multiples of hooks. You just probably don't see it. Well, you didn't see it probably. So I'm going to do this. Going to my last one, so chain 3. Let's keep an eye on the color transition. It gets really close. And I want the anchor piece in there. And I am so close, it's not even funny. I want this top loop to be this color to have a really perfect looking square. What I'm going to do, this was a E, okay, and I'm going to go to a 4.5 millimeter size G, just in the last 2 stitches only. That difference of 2 stitches can make the world of difference of making sure that you just use a little bit more yarn to get that transition to hit. So keep those hooks nice and close. And if you want it to be this color here, what you can do on the last stitch, just go a little bit bigger. So it's 4.5, I'm gonna go to 5. So noticing that I'm not ripping out a whole row to make that happen. And now the new color is ready. Okay, and that's then the end of row number 4. So we're now ready to start row number 5, and the 5 is going to be the next color, and we're going to do that next. So let's begin. So let's turn your work and do number 5, 6, and 7 using the same color, and that's as per the sequence of the yarn. Once you figured out what the main hook was going to be, in my case it was 4.5 millimeter size G or US 7, what I want to do is that even though I switched my hook to get bigger to get this to hit properly, I want to change out that hook, keep it close, keep my hooks all organized, and put in the regular hook that I used to get this. Okay, and now you're going to build it out. So rows number 5 through 7 is going to be using this yarn. So just try to keep your tension equal. Now your mood swings or your environment can change your tension. So if you have some negative life stuff in your situation, just put this away and just bring it back when you're more calm. So 3, so I pinch, 4, 5, 6. And then right where I pinch in is the first one, and I start doing my corner to corner all the way to the other side. So I'm not going to worry so much about the transition point until I'm on the 3rd row of this color. So it'll be row number 7. So just flip it up, attach with a slip stitch, chain 3, and keep on going. So if you're not new to corner, it's just like corner to corner. The only difference is you just got to watch your tension, which is on the last row of each one of these color transitions. And you will find that once you get in the flow of these things that you'll probably be able to whip these out pretty quickly. And you may find yourself wanting to cry or something if you're just not getting it right. If you're getting to that point of your mood, just put this down and revisit it another time. I found myself, especially with the granny square yarn, is that I found myself getting angry with myself and my tension kept getting worse and worse because I was getting upset. So you want to make sure that your yarn is cooperating in your hands and that your mood is staying balanced. Okay, come into your last one. So the last one is going to go into the space. And then the last one right here is going into the anchor. Okay, so you turn your work and then begin a new side. So what I want you to do is do the next row, and I'm going to meet you at the end of the 7th row, which this is going to transition. We're going to see where we're going to land and then see how to adapt it if we have to. And if we don't, you just keep on going. And if you have to adapt, we just make a few adjustments and then we'll keep on going. But you do not need to rip all of this out to make it work. Okay, so let's begin to do that. I'll see you at the end of row number 7. I'm working on the 7th row. So what I want to do is make sure I can see the transition happening and that this is all the yarn I have left of this color. But I want you to keep on crocheting until you get close to the end of the row before you start doing a panic attack, right? So I don't know about you, but I don't get panicky when I frog. So just got to keep that even tension. So if I start messing with myself and start tightening or I start doing something slightly different, I can throw off my whole rhythm, and I want consistency with my hands. So there are ways to get more tense with this. You can either just hold on to this and really pull it into the project so that it stretches the yarn. But in my case, I prefer to increase or decrease my crochet hooks so that my tension feeding into the hand never changes unless I really am forced to. But I won't know until I get close. So I'm looking at how much yarn is left, and I still have 2 boxes left. So let me just do another box and see where I land. Okay, and here I am, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I've ended too quickly. Okay, so I want to just finish it and take a look. Okay, so I'm like 2 stitches too short of being able to get this transition. So because I need this to be longer so that the transition will be later, I need to decrease my hook. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to frog back 4 boxes. So I'm going to go about halfway back. And it's just a guess. There's no science. Just test it and see if you like it. So go right back there, and let's grab a smaller hook to make the yarn stretch further, and then restart. So sometimes I can hit that transition, and sometimes I have to adjust. But the more that I'm doing this, the closer I am to understanding the hook size changes so that it becomes less tedious to do. I have a friend that's doing one of these in my stitch group, and I don't know how she's doing it in our group because our group is quite rowdy and the jokes just fly across the table, and I can't keep an even keel of crochet with that kind of tension in the room. Okay, come into your last box. So I'm looking at how much yarn is left for the last box. So it's going to be this. Chain 3 to start. And if it works, all the power to me. And if it doesn't, just got to frog again. And look at that. So I want, it's just a little bit short. See how it's a little bit like this? To get that transition to be perfect, that last one here, I am going to switch to a 5mm and just do that last stitch one more time. That difference of a millimeter like that is huge. I want that last one to be that color. So do you see? I used 4.5mm. I switched down to 3.5, and then the last one here to get that transition to hit perfectly, I switched up to a 5mm. But make sure that you go back to your regular size hook that you've been playing with as you start fresh again with a new color. And let's begin rows number 8 and 9 with this new color. Okay, with this new color already going, you want to do rows number 8 and 9. This is an increased row, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Make sure the hook has been changed to what your normal is, if you consider yourself normal at all. And I will see you close to the end of the second row. Okay, so I'll see you close to the end of row number 9, and we'll make some decisions. Where are we landing with this crochet hook, and if we have to adjust and more. I'll see you at the end of row number 9. Getting close to the end of number 9, the transition is coming. And I just don't want to panic. So the last thing you want to do with this yarn. Let's just see where we end up and then see if we get it. And if we don't, then we adjust. Okay, so I have that much yarn. I think I'm going to be a little short. So 1, 2, 3. And that's only because I've been playing with it now. This is my 3rd square I've ever made in my life. And I'm just looking at the distance that I'm getting used to what I can see. So I'm a little short. I need the yarn to be a little bit longer. So I need to reduce my hook, and I'm going to go back and rip out and go to 3.5mm size E. I'm going to rip out 4 boxes. So my friend normally rips out a whole row to restart. I don't. I just rip out a few and change the hook at that moment. So I'm going now to a E, a 3.5mm, and restarting. So if the transition is after you finish the row, it means that you'll need to increase your hook. And if the transition is before you finish the row, you have to decrease your hook. So far we haven't had to do much of that. Okay, and we're just going to finish this and see where we end up. So it's a whole millimeter difference in sizing. But as I said in the somewhere, whether it was the last tutorial or this one, every millimeter matters. So I'm looking, so get used to what you can see when you're doing the final box, when you're still doing the increases, to kind of see where you're going to land as far as how much yarn you're going to need to finish it. So 1, 2, 3. I might do it this time. Anchor it in. I am so close. So I want to be here. I am so close. So what I'm going to do, just the last 2 stitches, I'm going to increase my hook to a 5 millimeter. It could be 4.5. I'm going to do a 5 millimeter and see what happens. There's no wrong answer. The goal is to get that transition to happen. I want that final pull through to be the new color. If not, it's going to be really obvious on your work. You want it to look seamless. And now we're going to turn our work and begin rows number 10 through 12, which will be the final of the increase, and then we start decreasing after that. Okay, so let's begin rows number 10, 11, and 12. 10, 11, and 12, we're still increasing. Okay, so change out your hook. See this area here, that might bother you a bit. So what I'm thinking here is that I'm going to pull that out, and I'm going to just adjust this slightly. I'm going to go to a 4.5 millimeter. Just keep an eye on those little things that may bother you. You can't change the past. You can only do it in the present. And that looks much better. So that was a 4.5 millimeter. Okay, so 10, 11, and 12 just be an increase, so it's chaining 3. So 1, 2, 3, and then pinch 4, 5, 6, and then just do your corner to corner as you know it, and do not panic until you get to the 12th row, if we even want to call it panic at this point. Hopefully I don't sound panicked. I'm probably mansplaining the hell out of everything though. So 1, 2, 3, and do this, and I'll see you close to the end of row number 12. I'm coming up to the end of row number 12, and there's a little bit of a booby trap for you to run into. So I'm going to be saying to myself, and this is, I'm going to do it as I was doing it, so I'm not doing anything weird. And I'm going to finish this last square. This is the last time this square will get bigger, and look, I've already changed my color prematurely. But the last area of this is not actually here. When you go to start a new row, you have to have the same color to be able to do the slip stitch along the outside of this to keep that transitioning going. So I'm really off by a lot here. Do you see that? So I got to make sure that right here is the transition to happen. So I'm going to turn it back. So what I'm looking at here is that I've got to really tighten up my stitches. So I'm going to go about halfway back, and that was a 4.5 millimeter. I'm going to go to a 3.5 millimeter. And you know, you can get comfortable with these things to the point where you just kind of like just whistling Dixie, and you just kind of lose your tension control. So about halfway back, and I'm going to restart with the smaller hook using a 3.5 millimeter size E, because the smaller the hook, the longer the yarn will be. When I did it, the other 2 squares, I was not transitioning in time, where I had yarn left over before the transition actually happened. So then you would have to increase your hook to make that happen. Okay. And you keep on going. And we're just going to keep on crocheting until we can get to the moment of that transition to make some decisions at that time. So when I first started doing my homework on this, I was like, I don't understand. And what they've done is they've left you enough yarn to do that slip stitching to get you to the right area to start the next row. So I'm looking at how much yarn is left. I still have one more box to do. I got all that yarn. I'm not going to panic yet. Let's just do it and see what happens. So the yarn did not transition at the top of this, which is exactly where I don't want it to transition. I want to turn my work and I want to slip stitch across the top of here, and I got to make sure the last slip stitch goes in is this new color, because we're going to start doing a decrease. So you're just going to slip stitch across the top. And I'm looking at the distance of these, and I want to keep it so that transition is going to hit on the last one. It's like magic, I'll tell you. So check the back, make sure it's okay, and then you're ready then for the next 2 rows of using a 13 and 14. And this time we're going to do a decrease, so it's going to start off with 1 box short and going to finish 1 box short on this side. So let's change our hook back to our regular consistent one, 4.5 millimeter in my case, just US 7, and we'll start then rows number 13 and 14. To do 13 and 14, you're just going to chain 3 and 3 double crochet into the space. Okay, and then just start working your way up to the other side. So I'll see you closer to the other side, as we are going to finish 1 box early. And just try to keep your consistency and your mood swings in check. And I'll be right back in a moment. Getting closer to the other side, and I want to make sure that I finish 1 box short. Okay, so I want to finish right where this finger is moving. That's my last box. So it's 1 more box. And 1, 2, 3. And when you go to slip stitch it, you want to anchor it into the chain itself, not to a space. That'll keep it looking square. So you anchor, and we're not changing color yet, so you're just going to slip stitch tightly across the tops of those stitches right into the last top of the chain. Okay, and then you start a new row. To start a new row, chain 3 and 3 double crochet into the space, and keep on going till you get close to the other side. I'll see you there in a moment, and we'll make some decisions on how we are with tension. I'll be right back. The transition of color will happen soon, and it's just like because it is a decrease, the ending of the color should not be on the tip here. It should be when after we slip stitch. So I got 1 more box to make. I'm looking at how much yarn is left. I might have too much, but I'll see. You kind of get used to looking at the distance. Okay, and then slip stitch to the top. This is not where we want the color transition to happen, so far it's okay. And I have all of this distance to do those small little slip stitches, which means that this is too much. So what I'm going to have to do is that I want to increase my hook probably to, what are we saying? We'll do a 6 millimeter, and we'll just do 3 boxes back. Try again. I was daydreaming on the last row. So changing in the hook size is the best way to control your tension. Okay, that's how much I have left. Let's just keep on going, see where I land. It's easier to tighten it up than it is to find extra yarn. Okay, and I think it's too short. I just want a little bit more. I'm going to pull out 2 stitches. Go back to a 4.5mm US 7 and do the last 2 with those. That's a turkey U here. Okay, so attach, turn your work. So the transition has to happen right here. So you're just going to slip stitch out across the tops of your stitches. And you can be a little bit more generous with it if you don't think it's gonna, if you need to buy yourself some time. And look at that. Okay, experience will tell you what to do. So now you're going to move on then and do rows number 15 through 17, and it's a decrease like you already know it to be. So you're just going to start off and chain 3 double crochet in the space. So I will see you at the end of row number 17, and we'll see how we land and how we're going to adjust for it. So you see I missed the space. Try again. You can never take care of the you can never go back into the past instantly. You're going to have to frog out and restart. Okay, and just continue to go, and I'll see you at the end of number 17 in a moment. I'm at the end of row number 17. I have one more box to do, but I have all of this yarn. It means that I have been too tight. So, and too tight by a lot. I am going to do most of this last row with a 6mm size J. Let's see where I land. Okay, so we can retry that one. And you may want to, just in case for your own records, to indicate or write it down when you switched your hook, because you may find that certain colors you will be different as you're getting used to the squares, that you know that maybe certain row, half of it is better with a different hook than what your base is. You decide. Everybody's crochet journey is unique to themselves. I'm keeping an eye on that yarn. It's coming in off camera. Okay, I'm looking at it. I don't think I have enough yarn to continue to use this hook. I'm going to switch back down to a 5mm size I and do the last box. Again, it's just guess. Okay, I'm going to run out of yarn, so that's not the right answer. I'm going to try a 3.5mm size E. My goal is not to frog back a lot. My goal is to adjust on the fly. Okay. I want it to be a little bit tighter. So I'm going to go back. I need to still slip stitch, attach and still slip stitch. I'm going to go back 2 boxes with that hook. I'm going to attach. the last box, I'm going to switch to 4.5 millimeter. That looks about enough. Turn it, and I need to slip stitch across the top. And I need to make sure that last stitch is the color blue. And it's blue. So now we're going to move on now, rows number 18 and 19 using the same color that's now currently on here, and let's do that next. So 18 and 19 will be the last time we're using a different color, and then the final stretch is just another color right to the end, and you don't got to worry about your tension control. So I want you to do 18 and 19, just doing the decrease as you know it. I'll see you at the end of number 19 in a moment. So I'm getting close to the end of number 19, and I have this much yarn left. It's way too much. So I'm going to frog back, do a 6 millimeter. I'm going to go back 3 boxes. This will be the last time you have to worry about this for the remaining of the square. The final 4 rows, you're just going to, you got lots of extra yarn left over at the end of the square that you can just relax and kick your heels up and just do it. The final. So the final 4 rows are the same color with lots of extra yarn of that same color at the end. So there's a little bit of satisfaction knowing that. But I still think this is faster than weaving in ends once you understand how to manipulate this a bit. Okay, so the transition is right here. I think I got a little bit too much, so I'm just going to be very generous in the sizing of the slip stitching. So turn. So when I say that, I'm just going to go in and slip more longer strands than I normally would. Just kind of keeping an eye on stuff. And I want to make sure that that last pull through is going to be the other new color ready to go. Change up the hook back to my regular, and you're going to do the final rows of 20 to 23 next. Okay, 20 to 23 is 4 rows. You're just going to decrease again, and you're going to keep doing it until you get to the end. So you're going to have a lot of this yarn color left over. You don't need to stress it, just crochet as you normally would, and just keep on going back and forth. Then to finish off your final 4 rows, it's going to be really quite a fast process because you're eliminating boxes out every time you pass a row. So do you hear me thinking? No, it shouldn't. There's not much up there. Ha ha ha. Here all day, folks. Okay. Okay, turn your work. And turn. Way back in the day, they had us slip stitch, and we went right into the big space, and it would cause the corner to corners to look like a diamond. So if you stay within the stitch work and not work with those spaces when you're slip stitching it. We'll keep it square. Because I couldn't figure out when I was first doing all this stuff. I'm like, why is my stuff always looking like a diamond? And it had everything to do with that spacing. Could be my tension too. Okay, and then finally your last square is going in. So this is the foundation of doing this. So you have to decide in the future if you're going to sew these together, which I will give you tips in the next video about that, and or are you going to join it as you go. If you join as you go, it's going to be a little bit more of a tension control issue, but it is possible. I've done it. It took me a bit of practice to do it, but I did it, and I still think it's better than sewing. So even though I've finished the last box, I'm going to slip stitch right to the end of the corner. And if you notice that the yarn's coming from the ball is still quite a lot. So we don't start the next transition to here. So then I will trim my yarn right at that moment, get it ready for a new square to happen. But I have all of this left over now, and I can put this aside. And this was how you are going to complete the motif, just like you see. Now, the right side was marked. I forgot to mark this one. Okay, let me just do it now. I have enough experience that I can tell. But if you don't, in the video I showed you where it was supposed to go. So I'm going to indicate that one on the beginning of there, so I know that this was working its way outward when you're matching it to anything else. And then when you put it together with other ones that you're doing, you're going to notice is that the stitch work will align with each other. Okay, like that. So if you wanted to sew it, I would use the same color. So just take a sequence of yarn out of your batch. So one whole motif, just take out the whole yarn and just match blue to blue, this color to this color, and individually, and or do a join as you go technique. And that's what I'm going to be showing in the next video. But either way, it's good to go. And this would how you were completing these little motifs. Let me know how you did in the video, and I'll see you again another time. Bye-bye.